It's the week before Christmas, and I've got Ola's help here for the next 2 days. So today we're going to try to go through and get a bunch of the insulation up and try to wrap up the last few decision-making things that need to be addressed as we move forward with the barn construction here. We bought this patio heater last winter to use in our outdoor kitchen to help fight off the cold. We never did use it last winter, and this is our first time firing it up. We thought it'd be a good opportunity to use it here just to have a little space to stay warm while we're inside here trying to get this insulation done. We also decided to bring the dogs in with us. We find that this time of year, when the goats are in the corral and all the animals are contained and not out wandering the pastures, the dogs seem to get a little bit bored and at times go looking for a little bit of mischief. So we thought this would be a good opportunity to bring him in with us and have him close by to at least give him some interactions and help him from getting into trouble from being bored. I decided to try out this 2-part insulation spray foam kit to see if it was any good and how it compared to using just the insulation cans. Since I had already used about 30 or so of those small cans, I thought this might be a little bit faster, a little bit easier, and probably go as far for the same money. One of the benefits of this system is that it's supposed to flash off and harden within about 30 seconds, just like the systems I've seen professionals use, but man, they make it look easy. I've never used anything like this, and I'm hoping that the learning curve is not terribly steep. The instructions say that this system sets in about 30 seconds, so if you stop spraying for any longer than 30 seconds, you have to replace the nozzle tip. So I'm trying to move along at a pretty quick pace, trying to close off the bottom of the walls and get enough in behind the posts to close the gap without being excessive. So I'm doing that as a first timer and trying desperately not to make a hot mess of everything. Overall, I think I really like the system and I'll probably use it again in the future, hopefully with a little bit better finished result. After using up all of that system, I'm going back through with the standard expanding foam cans and filling in little spots that didn't quite fill up, where my lack of experience left it too thin and left a gap. So while I make my way around the building, trying to close up these little gaps behind the posts and make everything prepared that way where we can't get the batted insulation into very easily, Ola is coming up behind me, stuffing the batting into place and securing it off so that it's not going to fall out. She's also doing a pretty dang good job of making sure that it fluffs out and fills up all the space in the voids.
you put the fan in the middle of the building, you're fanning the walls over here.
Right, because these walls are blocking off upstairs.
Yeah. Now, if you have it in the middle of right here, because this is where it's going to get the hottest, I feel.
Is right where?
Is right all of this.
Just the front half?
Yeah, because I think you're going to have you're going to be mostly in the shade over here. So if you move the air, you can actually probably equalize.
Balance the air. I think you're right. If it's centered of
We
this
don't want the
mean square
battery room
space.
to be, and we want the battery room to have a neutral temperature, right? Like you don't want it too hot or too cold. Well, cold, that'll be plenty warm in there. But
Yeah.
we don't want it to be too hot. So I feel like you still have to pull air away, whether it's hot or cold, but you got to move it.
Sure. I don't really worry about that battery room being too hot. We've got R30 in that wall, R19 on the non-sun wall. It's also going to have a lean-to that comes down from most of that wall. We'll have R19 in the ceiling initially, but then we're going to blow in the insulation up in there. We'll probably get it up to like R44 or something.
Yeah.
Because that'll be like another
the
10
whole
inches.
point is to make sure you have a comfortable shop, whether it's cool or hot.
It's surprising how comfortable it is in here right now with just this little heat.
Yeah.
And the amount of insulation we got up, mostly because all of the bottoms are blocked now.
Now we just need a block of tops. So with the amount of insulation we have now, we are 1/4, 1/5.
Just want a target number to look for.
I just want to be like,
Well,
look how much we got up. 1/5 of the shop is insulated.
You just about have 1/2 of this wall.
Okay, that's positive.
And you just about have 1/2 of this wall.
Yes.
And you got part of the front wall, almost 1/2 of the front wall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not if you want to get real technical, you'd start looking at how many bags and how many left, right? But
still a lot.
But you're probably close to a quarter.
Okay.
You're probably a third on the walls.
All right.
Probably a third on the walls.
There you go.
It's not bad.
That's
a good way to
glass
say
is
it.
very full. I like that very much.
Probably a third of the way on the
Super
walls.
positive way to look at it.
And then 0 on the ceiling. So.
0. But I think tomorrow we should work on the ceiling.
Yeah, I think that
really
needs to be the focus tomorrow.
Because if you have a fireplace come in, you'll want that capped. Even
Tomorrow's my last day with you, with your
Yeah.
help so you got to go back to work. So
Yeah.
if we together focus on the ceiling and we get that ceiling insulated with the R19, immediately that's going to trap in heat. Okay, well, I like it. Let's plan on that. As we started working the next day, the wind was blowing and the snow was coming, and it kept fluctuating between blizzard whiteout type of conditions to blue sky patches and jumping back and forth between them. So before we begin working on the ceiling, we thought it would be best to go and block off the bottom of the walls on the outside, as well as get the insulation in on the bottom to make sure that the walls are blocked off and that snow and wind isn't blowing in from underneath the walls. The next couple of days, Ola had to go back to work, and I was pretty busy chasing around. But it did give me an opportunity to go into town and pick up our wood stove. How cool is that? So excited. Wood stove, all the pipe is here. A couple of days before Christmas. So sweet. This thing's got a nice big flat top. So that'll mean that I can easily keep a tea kettle on there. Man, I'm excited. It's got the blower fan for the back to circulate the air. That is cool. Ola didn't get a chance to see it until the next morning, and only just briefly before going to work. So Merry Christmas came early, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Babe, it's huge. That looks good. I like it. It's not like super fancy and stuff.
No, it's got these little kind of cool little scroll legs, just like our
Yeah.
the one in our house. It's just like the one in our house. A little bigger.
A little bigger. That's gonna look great.
I like that it's flat top
Flat
across
top
the
and
whole
it's not-
space. It's a pretty good size flat
That's a
top.
really nice fireplace.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it's great. It's
Christmas Eve, and we've only got about an hour to work. What a beautiful day. 41 degrees outside today. So all of our icy patches are melting down to dirt.
That's gonna be a framing wall, and then
Yeah.
we can. I don't know if you want to get the generator and get the. Oh, get it? Yeah.
You're the one that made the noise, weirdo.
Yeah, you're the one that made it all crazy. Oh, now you want to hide behind mom?
Yeah, that's it.
Aspen, talk to her.
Smart pants. If you want to try to do relocating some things, rearranging and kind of tidying up some space so that we can keep working on insulation, get ladders where we need them and stuff.
Yeah.
I can move the heavy stuff, the big stuff out of the way. Since we knew we only had about an hour's worth of time, we thought we'd take a few minutes and tidy up a little bit, rearrange some things so that it'd be less cluttered and a little bit easier flowing in the workflow, as well as making some room so that we can get the wood stove through and over into position. We needed to kind of get that figured out exactly where it would sit so that we could transfer that position to the roof and know exactly where the stovepipe would have to come through. And that way we could balance everything, making sure it all lined up. To be installed in the square corner, facing square. We don't want it angled like this.
No, we want it to be facing that way, right?
I think so.
You don't. I don't know. Do you want it to be like? Do you want it to be uniform, or do you want it to be in a corner?
I guess it depends. Are we going to have countertop here?
Yeah. I don't know, actually. I have no idea.
In my head, I think a workbench across the end makes sense, but leave the sides as open as possible. Let's see how the pipe lines up. I got my little makeshift plumb bob over here. Let me go up to the roof on the underside here in the rafters and give you the measuring tape, and you can measure from the wall. We can hang this down. So this is just like a lag bolt eyelet. So I'm going to go up there and I'm going to hang this down.
Uh-huh.
And the weight's going to keep the string so it's exactly plumb all the way down, both sides, right?
Okay.
After a bit of effort and figuring, we got it all figured out and everything positioned the way that we wanted it to be. But that didn't leave us any time left to be able to actually put anything together. So we went on to our Christmas Eve celebration with our family and had a nice Christmas day the following day. After a nice holiday, we went back to work on Monday with warm temperatures, but a lot of rain. Was hoping to get the stovepipe in, but it's raining a lot. So I don't want to punch a hole in the roof until that kind of gets lessened. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow's supposed to be a little bit less chance of rain, I believe, but it's like 38 degrees outside, which is nice compared to the cold we've had. But it's turning everything into mud soup. All the snow is melting, refreezing and melting. At least on the roads where we plow, so it's shaping up to be a nice hot mess. I kind of need to make some room here where the plywood is so that I can get the stove moved over here. The infamous corner claimed another victim. Leaving a chain in the bucket. Yeah, you do that a time or two and you never leave it in there again, huh? Just like that. Let's try.
Let me just see if I can climb out.
Yeah, I was saying, let's drive forward so that I can.
You want to stay hooked up?
Yeah, let me hook up. Let me come and bring you a little bit higher uphill.
And I'll see if you can straighten out. Make sure it'll straighten out. Let's just go like 4 feet. Start straightening the trailer. That way if we need to shift it a little bit more, we can. Okay, let's see how it goes. Push like that. Let me push. Okay. You're moving okay now, you think? Okay.
We had a busy week full of twists and turns, but all in all, we had a nice holiday and had a pretty productive week.
Well, now that I got the road cleared off, all that slush and snow and ice and water and all that junk, now that I got all that cleared, I'm freezing. My face can't hardly move well. My clothes are soaked. I'm gonna go home and get changed and warmed up.